Good morning. It's 10:30, Sunday the... goodness, I never know the date. I think it's the 18th. That's a guess. It's not, it's like the 15th maybe? No, it is the 18th. I'm right. How about that? I hope everyone's having a lovely Sunday morning. I am. Had a great night out at former Arrow announcer. Oh man, these headphones are playing up a little with the cord there. Former Arrow show announcer Hugh Barlow had his birthday last night. A few good musos there. They were all sort of playing. They had the band set up, and yeah, it was good times. But the weather was a little bit on and off, so there wasn't as much dancing as perhaps there might have been in the midst of the summer, but it was still a very good evening, and some good chats and good yarns and so on. So there's been a bit going on in New Zealand this week, hasn't there? Sort of tractors about the place and so on. It's always interesting. I suppose at least one thing I will say for New Zealand farmers is that at least they're not like the French farmers, you know? Because the French farmers just take it one step further. But, maybe that's something that New Zealand farmers could consider doing down the line a little, you know? Just go the full hog, just block everything off. I like those French truck drivers did. They parked all their trucks on the motorway and were like, that's it, we've had enough. And everything ground to a halt. So maybe the tractor drivers could just do that, drive up on the Auckland motorway tomorrow and just leave the tractors there for a few days. I think that's an idea. I mean, if they're as fed up as they say they are, why don't they put their money where their mouth is? Do something really controversial instead of driving around in their tractors in a bit of a play act. But yeah, no, good on them for voicing their concerns. I appreciate anyone's ability to do so in a democracy, and that's what makes democracy so good, is that you can do those things and you don't get brutally repressed by the police like they do in some countries. Even though the way people talk about it these days, you'd think that we do get brutally repressed in New Zealand, when in actuality we don't. So I think some people need to bear that in mind when they talk about the woes and hardships of New Zealand life and how the government's imprisoned them against their will in an iron cage. I've got a bit of music to play this week, as I often do. Unfortunately, last week I had my good friend Nick Carew on the air from Liverpool, and we had a bit of a chat, and I completely forgot to save the podcast, which was a little bit of a disappointment. I wanted to have a listen to that one back. I liked chatting with Nick. He's pretty good on the air, and he's got some interesting things to say. He used to actually have a radio show on another community access station in New Zealand back in Hawke's Bay, Kidnappers, years ago, which is another good station. But I do have some music I've been listening to this week, and I thought I might start off with... it's an oldie but a goodie, as is often the case with my musical choices. And no, we'll start it off with something light, actually. And this is a song that I've been appreciating a lot more in the last few months. I heard it for the first time a long time ago, but Joni Mitchell is the artist, and it's her version of Woodstock. Check it out. It's really, really quite a cool song that I'm a big fan of. She's got a lovely way of singing, Joni Mitchell, that I think everyone can appreciate. So without further delay, just make sure I've got that plugged into the right. All right, here we go. So this is Woodstock, Joni Mitchell.
He was walking along the road, and I asked him, "Where are you going?" And this he told me: "I'm going on down to Yasgur's farm. I'm gonna join in a rock and roll band. I'm gonna camp out on the land. I'm gonna try and get my soul free. We are stardust. We are golden, and we got to get ourselves back to the Then can I walk beside you? I have come here to lose the smog, and I feel to be a cog in something turning. Well, maybe it is just the time of year, or maybe it's the time of man. I don't know who I am, but you know life is for learning. We are stardust. We are golden, and we got to get ourselves back to the By the time we got to Woodstock, we were 500,000 strong, and everywhere there was song and celebration. And I dreamed I saw the bombers riding shotgun in the sky, and they were turning in to butterflies above our nation. We are stardust, billion-year-old carbon. We are golden, caught in the devil's bargain, and we got to get ourselves back to the garden.
Yeah, so that was Joni Mitchell with Woodstock. Yeah, good version of that one. That was Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, possibly, were the writers of that one, if I remember correctly. Yeah, she's definitely a great performer and a great artist, Joni Mitchell. There's another good song of hers I was listening to recently as well, Woman of the Valley, I think it's called. Really cool. So, and in legitimate, Election of the Week award goes to Bashar al-Assad, I think his name is, the Syrian president, who, in what sounds like a completely legitimate election result, was re-voted as president of Syria with 95% of the vote. Yeah. Nice one there, Assad. Sounds like you ran a really free and fair election there with, and the people, despite Syria being sort of a war-torn hellhole for the last, 5 or 6 years, the people still love you, mate. And, it sounds like you've got a mandate to continue being the leader there. As is the case with these things, that election result has been roundly dismissed by the rest of the world, but that won't stop old tyrant over there, Bashar. But yeah, wow. I can't believe they've got the audacity to release that as a statistic regarding that election. But yeah, back to, we've got more music this morning. I've got plenty of music I've listened to this week. I've sort of been thinking, well, I think I should play that on Arrow FM this weekend. And I was actually at that birthday last night of Hughes, and there were a number of ex sort of people who'd been on air at Arrow there, which was good to see. And another one was Piers, my old boss at the Y News. He had a show on years ago on here when he was working for the Times Age, I think, called Gonzo Radio, I think it was called. Always good to catch up with Piers, and Jack, my other colleague there, was there. But I might change it up a little bit now. There was a little bit of Joni Mitchell sort of ease things in there with Woodstock. And we might just change it up slightly with a little bit of... I know, well, it is. It's 10:42 Sunday morning. It's sort of that time of the day when you start waking up a little bit better. But no, we'll sort of take it reasonably easy again, in a manner of speaking. And we'll play a little bit of Led Zeppelin for your Sunday morning at 10:42 a.m., 18th of July, 2021. Here it is. It's Bring It On Home, Led Zeppelin. Yeah, Led Zeppelin, Bring It On Home. It's a goodie, eh? Yeah, enjoy that one. Yeah, so I'd say real estate deal of the week would have to be that 3-bedroom 1920s bungalow in Grey Lynn, Auckland, selling for $2 million. What a steal. It's a cracker deal for whoever sold that one. Yeah, yeah, and that's, I wonder what we're going to do about that. Is that value for money? I mean, I suppose you've got all the amenities close by, and it may be a tiny little section and a reasonably small house, but perhaps it is value for money for whoever bought it. Renovation potential is huge, apparently. That's why it went for $2 million rather than the $1.7 million that the auction started at. But hey, this is the world we live in. These are the houses that we have, and we'll have to build some more, and we have to keep that realistic, I think. And everyone's building away at the moment. I think there's a bit of a building boom going on by the sounds of things, building and renovations. It's all going like what, a barn door and a tornado? I don't know. I mean, yeah, there was some very heavy wind in Wairarapa last evening. I actually awoke at maybe, I'm not sure, at a guess, maybe 2 a.m. And I mean, our house is sort of an old 2-story wooden house. I mean, it's pretty solid. I mean, it's all native timber and so on, but that thing sort of, when the wind gets up, I mean, you can feel it. And it was one of those nights where the wind gets up so much that I was sort of waiting to hear a window smash or a door get blown off or something like that. It was pretty intense. It's almost like it's like watching a movie, like a particularly scary movie, or maybe going on a ride at a amusement park. That sort of wind, it sort of brings the same sort of. I mean, you're not quite in that same terror that you experience in, say, a bungee jump, perhaps, or skydive, just for a split second. But there's an inkling of it there when the wind gets up like that, and you just feel the sort of the raw power of the natural world being unleashed by itself upon the landscape. One thing I do miss about when we lived in Melbourne was being able to look across the plains there, and you could see the lightning storms off out in the country, and they were pretty phenomenal. Like, from distance, you could see these massive forks of lightning going down, just quite spectacular. Like the power that's unleashed in those storms. And Melbourne and Australia has like those extremes of hot and cold, and it's particularly in a place like Victoria where you do get the temperature dropping in the winter, and or even in the summer you get the temperature drop, and quite impressive. That wind last night was a little bit, it was touch and go for a moment there. I thought the old house was going to tip over for a moment. I was sort of waiting in bed, just like, wonder if the house did tip over. But, I mean, which is impossible, really, because, I mean, it's smashed. It's pretty solidly fixed to all those piles that are buried into the earth. But still, a proper good gust could probably just rip those nails out, I'd say. But, yeah, we're not hoping. It's not going to happen. I've got another song here. And it's a really beautiful song, actually, and I've played it before, maybe a couple of years ago on this radio show. It's a little bit somber, but it's somber but beautiful, and that's why I am going to play it. I'm a big fan of this song in particular, and I probably haven't given this artist enough consideration outside of this song, because I do love this song so much, and just the way it's delivered, the vocal abilities she has, and the music itself is just well constructed. I hope everyone enjoys it. Here it is. It's called Girls on TV by Laura Jean. At a guess, I think she's an Australian artist, but that just might just be a completely wrong guess because I do that quite often, guessing nationalities of singers. But anyway, here it is. Check it out.
Ricky played the flute, but she never had a use for it, miming her part in the school band while I took a solo on the saxophone. And I learned harmony, but she could dance, she could move like the girls on the TV. Mum took her to Johnny Young Talent School, but she quit. She said that she got scared when they made her do the splits. She tried tap school and blew the teacher away, but the girls in the class teased her saying she was too chubby. I remember when she told me, she cried in shame. I told her not to worry, we can do anything. I told her one day we'd be beautiful, and maybe we could start a band. 'Cause I was born to sing, and she was born to dance. She was born to dance like the girls on the TV, girls on the TV. She could always dance better than the girls on the TV. 10 a.m. R&B. Oh, she could always dance better than me. Well, she was bullied all day and made to feel like a fool. Mom was born again and decided to send her to the Christian school. On Thursdays her friends would dance in the spirit at the school church, but Ricky laughed and never believed in it. We moved in with Mum's first boyfriend after that, and he was only 21, and he'd always get mad while I hid in my room writing poems after school. He tried to kiss Ricky on the piano stool. I remember when she told me she was on cocaine. Well, I felt like I didn't know her or how she got
Yeah, so that's Laura Jean with Girls on the TV. Good track, eh? Yeah, so I did read something just earlier today, actually. A really cracker of an opening paragraph in this particular article about the film that Julia Ducournau was the second woman ever to win the Palme d'Or, do they call it, at Cannes, after New Zealand's very own Jane Campion, for her film Titane, which is this opening paragraph of the article about it was sensational. I'll just read it out. It's Cannes let rip a punk power chord of glorious mischief by giving the Palme d'Or to Julie Ducournau's gonzo genderqueer body horror shocker Titane, and the jury and the movie's many fans will have savoured the delicious apple-cart upsetting thrill of it all. It's the biggest épate since Lars von Trier won it for Dancer in the Dark. And importantly, it's an award that makes Julie Ducournau only the second female Palme winner in the festival's history since Jane Campion. So, well done, Julie. Have to check that film out. It sounds pretty crazy, quite interesting. The sort of premise of it is a girl born with and she's hurt or something, and she gets a piece of titanium put into her head, and yeah. I mean, it's out on the edge of reality, that film, by the sounds, and I might check it out. I mean, the reviewer did say that wasn't their choice for the winner, but they had something else in mind they thought might win, but they were offering congratulations to that, but and said that it wasn't even actually, in their reviewer's opinion, Julie Ducournau's best film. The reviewer preferred Raw, which was an earlier film by her, but either way, it's pretty cool. It sounds like there's a really good article on The Guardian by Peter Bradshaw. He's the reviewer, but he does outline all the films that were up for awards at Cannes, and there's quite a number of films there that sound like they're worth checking out for people out there who are into that sort of thing. I'm definitely going to have a look at a few of them, possibly. Well, at least watch the previews, and there's a couple there that I quite like the sound of just from reading about them, and I might watch. And that's always good. It's always good to find a new film, particularly one that's not being shoved down your throat, rather the one that you have to look for. I always do prefer those to the ones that they're like, watch this, and you're like, yeah, okay, maybe. No thanks. Yeah. But back to the sorry, just let me clear my throat. Back to the music. I had another song that I've been listening to this week, and this one, I suppose, potentially could be a little bit more jarring for some people. But then, on the other hand, it's a beautiful piece of music. If you'd sort of assess your sensibilities momentarily. It's by the Flaming Lips, and it's called... I can never remember the full name of the song. What is it called again? Pilot Can at the Queer of God. And the Flaming Lips are a bit of an institution, really, as a band. They've sort of been around a good many years. I did actually hear them mentioned affectionately by young Miley Cyrus on an interview I listened to when Joe Rogan was interviewing her earlier this year, and she said she was great friends with the Flaming Lips lead singer, and I can't remember his name offhand right now, but they were musical influences for her, which I thought was pretty cool, because definitely a band that have really contributed some interesting stuff to the sort of sonic what do you call it, archive. And this track here in particular, I really enjoy it. It sort of does go on a bit in places, but it's actually really quite enjoyable. It's called, Pilot Can at the Queer of God. Check it out, see what you think.
She's got helicopters. Yes, she has. And now she's got helicopters. Yes, she has.
Yeah, Pilot Can at the Queer of God, Flaming Lips. How about that? It's a little bit different. I'm a big fan of that song. I'm a big fan of that band. They do a few really cool songs that I'm... there's another one off that particular album that I'm a massive... I'd say I'm a huge fan of. It's called She Don't Use Vaseline. I'd urge anyone who has enjoyed that number to check She Don't Use Vaseline out, because that's just it sort of takes it up a notch. It's great song, really funny lyrics as well. It's Mark Coyne is the vocalist for the Flaming Lips. I really do like his voice. Is sort of it's an interesting one. He sort of can carry a note really well, and he has this sort of almost like quite soft sounding vocal that I've always quite enjoyed. That, and it can also become quite a harsh sound as well. He's quite interesting the way he delivers his vocals. They're a band themselves, very talented musicians again, and sort of interesting in that they are again one of those bands that very much have their own sound that they've created, and that's always something that is highly enjoyable when it comes to music. And I had another song that I wanted to play, and I was going to play. It's 11:10. I mean, and now it's Sunday morning. We might go with. This is actually a goodie. This is an artist who is, I think, in the process of releasing some new music in conjunction with some friends of mine, actually, The Nudge. His name's Troy Kingi. This is a song that came out, he put out about 3 years ago, or maybe 4. I'm not 100% sure what year it was he released this album. The album was called Shake Your Skinny Ass All the Way to Zygatron. And it's an excellent album, like a concept album. I think of it as sort of conceptually sort of a little bit of a space theme, bit of a interdimensional theme. This particular track is a favourite of mine from the album. It's called Grandma's Rocket Poem, and I think it really shows what Troy Kingi is capable of as a musician. He's definitely one of my favourite New Zealand artists ever. I think he's got something, just a sort of special energy about him, and the way that he sings and delivers his music, and his sort of his ideas are great. And so hopefully this is a new song for some people out there. I think you might enjoy it. Check it out.
The sun set in the west, but what of the 12 suns? We live on their small exits, and also in the plethora of platforms. These black marks avoid us to hold the keys. Up there lives beauty beyond all comprehension, but also destruction. When your time on earth come to an end, only then will you see we are the Creator. We are one in the same. Go forth, exist, my child.
Dear child, I wanna tell you about a trip I had. Way back when I met this guy in outer space. Took me to the corner of the universe. Blew my mind when I saw my creator's face. Wanna put your handset down and turn your attention upwards. You're nothing but an electron child, just waiting for release. Grandma's rocket poem, a cautionary tale, but it's more about a fool life led. She walked into a portal to the cosmos. Grandma's rocket poem, runs around Saturn, jump ship when you get to the listen. Grandma's rock the pond. I was young once, I used to hunt in the woods. Under the precipice is where I found my glowing door. Shot through the threads of space and time. My poor mother's embrace, I'm not gonna feel no more. Hope for an ocean eye up there in the darkness. When you're searching through the sky, the feeling is heartless, heartless. Grandma's rocket pond. Of course you never tell, but it's more about a fool life led. She walked into a portal to the cosmos, rocket falling. Run rings around Saturn, jump ship when you get to the fifth dimension. A real life Jane Jetson. Grandma's rocket pond.
Yeah, so that's Grandma's Rocket Poem, Troy Kingi. Worth checking that album out if you like that one. It's actually, the whole album's excellent. I would routinely listen to the complete album right through, one of those albums. Yeah, good tunes, good listen, good artist, Troy Kingi. I did see that recently the theatre company in Masterton, who I can't recall the name of offhand, did a production of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and they were actually able to go and visit the original car from the film that Peter Jackson purchased in 2011. Old PJ there, he bought that car, which is brilliant, really. I didn't actually know that he'd bought that car until I read a little article in the Wairarapa Times Age midweek paper saying that he'd bought that car and they'd gone over and hung out and had some photos with it, which was pretty cool. That car was I loved that film when I was a kid, actually. Even when I was a teen, I was a big fan of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I'd sing along with the songs, and who played Caractacus Potts? Who was that actor? Oh, goodness, I can't remember his name now. Yeah, he was funny either way, and the old Bamboo and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, great songs. And they did put on a production, and before I actually snapped my Achilles, I was going to go and try out for the part of the child catcher, which is a bit of a dark element of the movie. It was written by Roald Dahl, of course, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and someone else as well. but the child catcher I'd always been. He was a little bit of a dark character, but there's just this really funny bit in the film where he does his child catcher truck up like a lolly vehicle and puts on these lovely robes and does this crazy little dance on the cobblestones. And I'd always been a big fan of that dance. So I was like, man, I'd love to do that dance. So I was going to audition, but then unfortunately I snapped my Achilles. But I hear that the production was great. I couldn't even get down to it because I was injured at home, propped up, hobbling about the place. I did have a scooter, thanks ACC. But I'm back up and about now, and it's a pity the production's, I think it's over. But yeah, good for those people in the show. I would have loved to have seen it myself. I do like a good stage production. I was lucky enough to see the colleges put on the Shakespeare thing earlier this year here in Wairarapa, and my daughter participated with the Kuranui group, and yeah, that was enjoyable. And my brother-in-law and niece actually take part in a bit of theatre stuff in Hawke's Bay, and my nephew, Billy and Tiaki and T-Mac, Thomas McArdle, my brother-in-law. They are quite involved there with music and theatre, and they're great things to get into. If you've ever thought about it or had an inkling, I'd suggest you do it rather than think about it, because you'll have a great time. Yeah. So I could play a bit of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang now, actually, but no, I won't. I mean, even though it's a cracker tune, and it's just the type of tune you need at 11:21 on a Sunday morning, I think, when you're about to take your own Chitty Chitty Bang Bang out for a drive on a Sunday. I certainly would be if I owned that car, Peter. Not that you're listening. But here's a tribute to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, actually. It's by a band called White Zombie. You may be familiar with the song. It's it could be described as a bit of an assault on the senses, but bear with me. It's White Zombie came along in the 90s with a bit of a sort of surf guitar heavy metal sound that was quite interesting, and the lead singer, Rob Zombie, he's an interesting character. I listened to him being interviewed by Joe Rogan, I think it was, about 2 years ago, and well, what a character he is. He's a filmmaker as well. He makes some pretty disturbing films, and he's made some pretty disturbing music as well, but some pretty good music too. And this track here is one that people would either love or hate, and I myself love it, and I think it's a goodie. I was listening to it today, the other day on the way home from work, and I thought, that's a cracker, I'm playing it on Sunday. And so here it is, without further delay, Thunderkiss 65, White Zombie. It's a tribute to Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, in my opinion, so check it out. Chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, chitty chitty bang bang.
Well, we a little sister's hot hell, cheating on a halo, rising and out of the Holocaust, the house, kick her out the Myra, and break down agony after the ecstasy and overcast. We're riding on the wall, don't know you stand.
try me.
Yeah, I really think that would work well as the song in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang when they fly the car around. In fact, you could probably make a video with that song playing and the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang car flying around with the characters in it. I think it would, that'd be great. I'd love to see that. I might have to make that on YouTube if possible. I'll just pare things back a little bit now with the next song that is one that I've always been a big fan of since I was introduced to it as a kid by a friend. Yeah, it's quite sentimental, but it's also quite lovely. And here it is. Check it out. These Are the Days by Queen.
Sometimes I get to feeling I was back in the old days, long ago, when we were kids, when we were young. Things seemed so perfect, you know. The days were endless, we were crazy, we were young. The sun was always shining, we just lived for fun. Sometimes it seems like lately, I just don't know. Rest of my life's been just a show. Those were the days of our lives. The bad things in life were so few. Those days are all gone. look and I find no change.
Yeah, not too bad, that number, eh? Queen and Freddie Mercury and the lads from Queen. I did see that movie earlier this year about them, and yeah, it was a sentimental nod, wasn't it? Didn't really get into, I mean, it got into a little bit of the sort of band dynamic possibly, but I thought it was quite light on that sort of perspective. I did hear that Sacha Baron Cohen was keen to play the role, but then didn't want to anymore when they sort of weren't going to do the story in a way that he thought it needed to be done, and pulled out of the project. He's a pretty methodical actor, Sacha Baron Cohen. I did see this quite odd film he did as an Israeli spy in Iran, I think it was. I only watched about half of it. It was quite good, but he got right into the role though. He is really, as for all his the satire that he does, he is actually a very talented actor in terms of what he can deliver in a performance. It would have been good to see him as Freddie Mercury. I think he would have really. I mean, the guy who played it did pretty well himself, didn't he? What's his name? Rami, someone or other. Yeah, it was good. But yeah, that's a cracking tune. It was one of those ones, I think, as a young man that I was like getting all sentimental, and I was maybe about 13 or something, and I was like, oh, those were the days. And I was only 13, and it was like maybe I was thinking about when I was 6. Those were the days I had, I had my truck and my gun, and I'd be out in the front yard, without a care in the world. But good track, that one. They definitely had their own sound too, didn't they? Queen did pretty well for themselves, really, with their offerings. And another song that I'm going to play today, actually, and I'm just going to play it because I was thinking about, is this like a song to carry on from that? Is it a Sunday morning song? And then I'm like, yeah, okay. I was lucky enough to see this band play at the Wellington Town Hall in, I think, 2006 was the last time they were here. I happened to be walking past the bungee in the middle of town where my friend Graham worked, or maybe I was just loitering with intent there, and my friend Graham Waddy, and he suggested he had a spare ticket to the Roots. He'd gotten off our good friends Willie D and Uriah Whakamoe, and I was lucky enough to procure one of those tickets, and I went along to the gig that night. And it was excellent. And I actually got to meet the members of the Roots afterwards at a little bar. I can't remember the name of it. It was in Cuba Mall. Blackthought, and I think that's what Blackthought, and who are the other, Questlove and so on. I just said a brief hello to them, of course. It wasn't like we sat down and talked for half an hour or anything. But no, it was pretty cool though. And they were an excellent band. One of the best live performances I've ever seen, I think, just in terms of their energy and ability. Splendid concert. And this is a track by them called Dynamite that I've always been a fan of. It's just got a lovely energy to it that I've always appreciated. And I think it's a good Sunday, 11:36 a.m., the 18th of July 2021 song. So here it is. Check it out.
Check it out, intro, do synth, the soul missing link. What could MCs who listen think? It's Black Thought, open your eyes and don't blink. Yo, to rock this mic is like a basic instinct, but intro, do synth.
Behind me, the mic champion, more than a step beyond. Motherfucker sweating me, begging me just to get me on. Macro cosmic, micro master.
Hey yo, I'm all the way, feel, lay. People wanna see the way that Illya play. Yo, look in the mirror, watch what yourself say. I'm from SP, no mortal man can test me. Thought I keep a line in upper echelon in Heineken, hold the rhyming and flows, reminding them cats to hear me or some shit from back in the past. You half stepping out, could never fathom a grasp.
Cause hey, yo, we got a doctorate in cold rocking it, bringing this apocalypse, nigga, you mad topical. If my rap's tricks, you're optical, Mr. Superficial. I'm ripping apart your heart tissue. This is your official dismissal. I don't study the artificial. Who fucking with the dark crystal? Yo, what art is you? I'm moving like a smart missile, aimed and guaranteed to hit you.
When the fifth do get on to perform, you win for it. It ain't no way to censor it. My style metaphoric to bricks and 10-ton stacks, hard to lift. The artist coming out the fifth darkness.
We go back like ancients, while you ain't shit. Subterranean, live against the gradient. Afro-American / half Palladian. In your universe, my star's the most radiant.
Touch this elephant dynamite. Come on, touch this elephant dynamite. Come on, touch this elephant dynamite. Touch this elephant dynamite. Come on, touch this elephant dynamite. Come on, touch this elephant dynamite.
Hey yo, it's all the way live from 215. Plus admission is denied, so just wait outside. Two extremes collide like Jekyll and Hyde, and I provide you with the swerve you need. But take heed, you travel at light speed, iller than adventures you might read. Official original breed, the Justice League. Yo, it's the P5D style fashionist. Other MCs, they actresses.
Yo, it's the high post, you about to get shot down. Trying to fly above the Silla fifth compound. You know since the get-go, I rock your disco. Ain't nobody better but yo, you get my gist. So see, I represent, so you gotta squint. As far as how I really do it, you ain't cognizant. We cause a new sense and getting decent. So save your 2 cents. Don't come in my district, kicking out of shit.
Just all simplistic, limited click it. Lyrically lifted, touching the fifth shit. Trenches of the mentally twisted, you enlisted. 5 was the emblem on the mic you got hit
and
with.
I stop ya till you call me conqueror. Back slapping all them niggas that slept, thinking that Elo could ever disappear. I'm stripping a veneer with this 9E3 for crop reaping premiere.
Check it out. Touch this elephant dynamite. Come on, touch this elephant dynamite. Come on, touch this elephant dynamite. Hey, touch this elephant dynamite. Come on, 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 touch this elephant dynamite. Yeah, touch this.
Yeah, so that's The Roots with Dynamite. Good track, that. Yeah, interesting band. If you're not familiar with them, they've got a lot of good albums out there. They're a proper hip-hop band where they have, I think, a 6-piece band with an MC. There's another good hip-hop band I was a fan of. They were called The Goats, and they were also from Philadelphia. They released a few albums in the early 90s that are worth checking out for people who like hip-hop delivered by bands. I've always thought it was a good way to do hip-hop rather than just with beatboxes and so on. And the Beastie Boys are another good example of a band that do hip-hop. Like, they were a punk band, the three of them, before they sort of got into hip-hop. And they sort of carry that through into their hip-hop with some of their tracks. There's a really good version online on the Letterman show, I think, where they or one of those Tonight shows or something, where they do some of their tracks from Ill Communication, which was an album they put out in the early 90s, the Beastie Boys. But yeah, I did have another track I was going to play here, and it's just the case of me finding this particular playlist. And at the moment I'm struggling to find it, actually. But yeah, it's been a bit of a wet and wild week across New Zealand, with unfortunately people being evacuated due to flooding, which is always sad to hear. It must be so. I mean, I imagine if I had to leave my house sort of in the night or even during the day because of a flood, that would be quite a traumatic experience. So sort of thoughts with those people down there in the South Island who experience that hardship at the present. It can't be that nice. Hopefully they come through it without too much disturbance. Yeah, well, it's really a major weather event. I did crossing the Ruamahanga earlier on the way here to Marston, and I noticed that the river's quite a bit further up than it generally is, which is, characteristic of this time of year, but also reasonably spectacular when you see it and sort of full flow, the old Ruamahanga. It's a giant of a river. It was good. Earlier this year, I was chatting with Gareth Winter about him journeying down the Ruamahanga from its tributaries up in the foothills of the Tararuas, and he told a really interesting story about walking down the river, and then there was a moment where he sort of noticed he was like in the type of bush he was in was sort of like old New Zealand bush, like original native bush, and it occurred to him that it was like he was then walking in sort of pre-colonial New Zealand, which I thought was a really interesting thought, a really cool thought. I really like Gareth. He has some great observations on life in general. Former archivist at Wairarapa Archive, and top-notch human, Gareth. But yeah, I thought that was a great. I'd love to do that walk myself now. Now that after he said that, he was walking down there, and then he got a bit further and he saw some kids walking on the bank and had a chat to them, and then carried on walking, and then sort of came out of pre-colonial New Zealand back into modern New Zealand, walking alongside farms and so on. And but yeah, what an interesting journey that was. He walked the length of the Ruamahanga over, I think, several weeks or months, all the way down to the ocean, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, that sounds like that's a trek that I'd like to undertake, actually. I think it would be quite a rewarding experience, and a real proper taste of this beautiful region that we live in here in Wairarapa. A place that I've come to appreciate a lot more since we obviously moved here from Melbourne. I wasn't that familiar with it prior to living here. I'd always sort of driven through and not paid much heed, but I've sort of got a new appreciation for this part of New living here for 5 years. It's been great. Yeah, so here's a song that I've played before, maybe a couple of years ago, and I'm a big fan of it. It's by an artist called King Cruel, and it's called Dumb Surfer. And I think Emma Jane was the one who got me onto this track. Someone used to play it on, what did they play it on? Triple R in Melbourne, I think. That was where maybe we first heard it. So yeah, check it out. This is King Cruel with Dumb Surfer. Yeah, that's a cracker, eh? King Cruel. I like that track. It's quite haunting, that number. It's a goodie. We're coming up to the end of the show. There's only 9 minutes left, so might have to play a bit of Underworld, which I've been playing a bit in the last year or so. This is a good one that I'm a big fan of. It's called Jumbo. It's by Underworld. I've played it before on the show, maybe a while back. But it's worth playing again, that's for sure. And Underworld are one of those bands or groups. I suppose you'd call them a group because it's only two people on who use mixing desks and keyboards and production facilities to make their music, which is a type of music that I'm really quite a big fan of. I do have a mini keyboard. I used to make some tracks online a few years ago, and my laptop died on me, so I stopped, and I'd really like to get back into that, actually. I'm thinking about getting another keyboard and a decent laptop and making some weird disco music, perhaps. But anyway, I'll play this. It could be the last song of the day, and I hope everyone out there is having a lovely Sunday. We're almost at midday. I'm going to go home and put on the Sunday roast. And, possibly have a walk outside, see what the weather's like. It seems not quite so blustery. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of bluster from the wind, from nature, though, is there? I mean, you have to appreciate all the different aspects of the weather system, in my opinion. I'm actually a fan of rain. I don't mind a bit of rain now and again. The sunshine, of course, is lovely as well. And a bit of wind is good as well, just for cleansing the landscape in some ways. I always found that when I lived in Wellington, it was quite a lovely element of Wellington was the fact that the wind would get up to absolutely horrendous speeds, and it would just clean the whole city out. I found, there'd be a bit of rubbish lying around on the street. You'd be walking along, and then, hey, presto, it's gone, You can't buy that sort of, you can't buy that sort of efficiency these days. The wind's just going to do it for you. And not to mention litter, but it was also exhaust fumes. Gone. It's like that, it's like one of those cleaning product ads. Chuck it on, gone. That's the wind in Wellington. So it's one thing that Wellingtonians can be quite happy about is that wind there cleaning out their city every so often with its 150 km/h gusts. I think Wellington and two other places in the world record the highest wind speed average. I think one of them is in Chile, and I think the other is possibly in Scotland. Or Wales. I'm not. You probably verify that. I might, but that was a fact that I read a few years ago and somewhere, and I should actually check if that's true. But I like the sound of it anyway. Here's a good track. Here it is. This is it. Jumbo, Underworld. Check it out.
Bro, there's a little sale on vests at Walmart. $9.
Oh yeah?
8 something, yeah. Nice little vest, light.
fast past the window, a dark on the other side of a locked door. Thumbs on a Tetris keyring, moving in brilliant timing. You pick up the phone, and I'm imagining tiny wires in arrears, sliding through the city. Tiny wires in arrears, sliding through the city. Spoke to you beneath the feet of the city. Click, you disconnect from me. Click when you're gonna take your century. There are no borders between us. Only these wires, lost between the wires on glass. And in that distance, I am your tourist.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. Have a good Sunday and have a good week. Thanks for listening. Take it easy.
Well, I've never fished here. I've caught buku fish and grub and bird. I never did catch fish.